Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Tarot Spills the Tea. Today's session is about the bishop. What's the real reason the bishop exited stage left on All About the Tea's public discussion panel? Now, let me tell everyone right now, this is a tarot reading. Make no mistake, this is a tarot reading. This is for anyone who may be new. This is a tarot reading, hence the title, Tarot Spills the Tea, and I am Indigo Sage. So, the bishop, was he sincerely standing on the side of virtue, or was it a self-saving act? Was he an orchestrator or overseer? What made him sing like a canary? A new POV shines light on his bird behavior. Yes, yes, yes. I am Indigo Sage, an awakened soul. I do have a spiritually based website at unapologeticallysage.com where I cover lots of topics. You will laugh, you may cry, you may get advised. I suggest you go check it out. You can also find Unapologetically Sage on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Okay, you guys, I have to admit, all right, I have to give you guys a confession that there is a nerd deep down inside of me. Okay? There is a nerd deep down inside of me. So I have a tendency to, when I'm researching something, I dive in really, really deep sometimes, and I have to like catch myself and pull back. So I tried to do that. I tried to balance that out, but you know, this is what you're gonna get when you are here on Tarot Spills the Tea. So one of the things I did was I wanted to just get a baseline of bishop and what that meant, and just to see if that, how it correlates with the bishop, quote unquote. And it really did. Now, I already know that he's not officially ordained as a bishop, okay? But it just helps to get inside the mind of someone who calls themselves the bishop. All right, that's just interesting. So because anytime someone gives themselves a name, it's just interesting to see and understand why. So some of the duties I found out, the bishops be busy. Okay, they be busy. Some of the duties are an inspector, overseer, a watcher. They ensure that things to be done by others are done rightly. All right. And the choice of the word done rightly was interesting, because usually when you see duties listed, they'll say correctly, but rightly puts you in the state of mind of doing right versus wrong. They also have the responsibility to investigate allegations of misconduct. They function as a manager by helping people to find their place. And the bishop, he coordinates his efforts for maximum effectiveness. Now, instantly, when I got there, I said, okay, because I had already did the reading and everything, and then was going over things and decided to add this. And I'm like, okay, yeah. This stood out because I'm like, he coordinates his efforts for maximum effectiveness for him. Now, I believe, you know, these duties, quote unquote, and I was going to say this description in general, when they say coordinates his efforts for maximum effectiveness, I believe that is, you know, for the overall church, I'm assuming. But in this case, this bishop, yeah, he coordinates his efforts for the maximum effectiveness for him. Moving right along. Alright, here's a little bit more of my little nerdiness. Alright, I didn't just stop at looking up what bishop meant. Actually, in that whole, you know, ordeal of me looking up what bishop meant, there were like 4 different things. But one thing, and I'm not going to break down each and every one of them, okay? So I feel like I heard a collective sigh. But one of them that stood out to me was the African weaver bird, aka the bishop. The reason why this stood out to me is because instantly as I saw it, and what it is it's an African bird who has the skill of taking grass and leaves and branches and weaving them into, a home, a nice home where, they're protected. And it's really, it's good structure. It's it takes time and skill, and it's structurally sound, and it's just awesome how God creates the creatures to just naturally have these skills. The reason why this stood out, and the way that it stood out to me as it connects to the bishop that I am talking about right now from All About the Tea, is because when I listened to his excuse me, you guys, that's again allergies, but when I was listening to his reveal speech, or whatever, or not reveal, I'm sorry, the finally speaks speech, he had something to say about each and every person. And it was interesting to me because a lot of them just stuck to when they gave their, goodbye speech, or why I left speech, why I left the panel, I'm not on the panel, you ain't gonna find me there no more, whatever. Most of them pretty much stuck to either talking about themselves or specifically talking about Ples. In general, that was the majority of the conversation as it pertained to why I left, quote unquote. His was unique in the way that he talked about everybody. He weaved in something about every single person, and I thought that was interesting. And he was, anyway, we'll get more into that, but this is the reason why this bishop bird, with their skills to weave a nice, tight-knit, secure home and protection for them, I'm like, you know what, I believe he did that. So let's keep going so that I can reveal to you guys why I feel, anyway, that this has a connection with the bishop. Also, if you don't mind, please take out some time and guide your pretty eyes down below and look at that red bar at the bottom. This is for entertainment purposes only, and every single word is alleged and not to be used as facts. Every single time you see that red bar at the bottom, please apply the sentence within. And guess what, you guys? This is the first time in this series that I was drawn to use the original Rider-Waite deck. I love my decks. I love the variations. I'm big on imagery. But this one begged and yearned and longed for the original deck. So we are dealing with Rider-Waite. Excuse me. So most of the cards were in reverse. I'm just gonna come out and tell you that. And I used my own personal deck, the Ultimate Clarifiers deck that I designed and channeled from the angels in order to clarify it. So let's sage this out. In the past position, it's the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords shows a knight laying horizontally on a tomb. He remains in his full armor, and his hands are in the position of prayer as a sign of rest. Excuse me. Okay, so it's in reverse. So as I always say, what's in the past position is important because it is the reason why the card, whatever it may be, it's the reason why that shows up in the present position, which is the next position. And this is supposed to be a time, the Four of Swords is supposed to be a time where you go within. It's introspection. and it was in reverse. All right, so let's look at the clarifier. All right. Yes, indeed, it makes sense. The clarifier, the card is entitled "Everyone Have a Seat and Hush." Okay? Everyone have a seat and hush. STFU. And actually that card was also in reverse, which means that that was a fail. That was an L. You're receiving unwanted advice. You're screaming STFU inside. All right? That's what that means. So I can understand how the Four of Swords, where you're supposed to have introspection and introspection and, you know, a time of rest and stuff. I can understand why that would be in reverse, because when you're receiving a bunch of unwanted advice, unsolicited advice, it's hard to do that. And as you can imagine, this is the time, because remember, you guys, and I didn't look at the live that I'm getting ready to refer to, but I saw commentary, a lot of commentary that said the very next day after the blow up and explosion happened between Monica and Plez, they went on, the whole panel minus Plez went on the very next day as if nothing ever happened. And they said that the bishop was just on there just jolly as Santa Claus. Okay. So yeah, and then after that, I'm sure that a lot of people were in his ear. And so let me go ahead and read a little bit more about what this card, the clarifier, says. And again, you know what, and it's my bad for assuming that you guys are you're returning and you already know. So for those of you who don't know, the clarifiers are my personal deck, and for the most part I don't show them, I talk about them. So the imagery that you're seeing right now is still that original card, and it would be from whatever deck I decide to use, and it's in the reverse, and this is what's being clarified. All right, moving right along. So the clarifier says, everybody have a seat and hush. Now this is a card that shows up in a reading as a clear message that everyone is speaking on, about, or to you, and you don't want to hear it. Everyone is giving you unwanted advice, it feels like. Inside of the querent is screaming, shut up. And it just might be screamed on the outside as well. Mainly it's about receiving unwanted advice. So that's what was going on. And honestly, even before I did this reading, when I was listening to his, Bishop Speaks speech, I knew it was coming from the noise in his background, meaning this unwanted advice. Let's move right along, because you know what, I did good on time the last video, and I'm gonna keep that up. So as it pertains to the bishop's decision, the real reason behind his decision to leave the All About the Tea panel, public discussion panel, guess what he has? The Wheel of Fortune. And that was in reverse. Like I said before, they all were in reverse except for one, which is at the very end. So things had been going well and have suddenly and quite unexpectedly fallen apart. And here's the problem, and that's obvious. Like, I didn't need a card to tell me that. We all could see that. But here's the thing as it relates to him, and this is what, quite frankly, gets under my skin, is that he was pushed to make this decision. It didn't come natural, and he has the nerve to call himself bishop. And here's the thing too, I realize that bishop could be a name. I've heard of some people being named bishop, like that's their name, but that's not his name though. He's, referencing it as being a part of religion, and I don't take issue with that. However, if you want to carry the esteem of a bishop, then at least have some kind of morals. Show something that's morally sound and right before you are pushed and slapped upside the head and forced to do it. You know, him going on the very next day and kikiing with all of them like nothing ever happened. I guess they just thought that we all were gonna, they thought they were the men in black or something, and could just flash that little pen and go boop boop or whatever. Y'all just forget everything that happened yesterday. You know, it doesn't work like that. So anyway, he had a visit from karma, or at least he was anticipating it, and it was in reverse. I love the Wheel of Fortune in other decks, and a lot of times it's called the Wheel of Karma. I love karma, and I know that they say karma is a B. The way that I look at it is, they say karma is a bitch. I don't look at her in that way. I look at her as karma is your best friend. That's the B that she is in actuality, because what this heifer will do, honey, she's going to teach you, she's going to send you lessons, and she's going to keep knocking at your door until you answer it correctly. Point blank, period. And what she's going to do is force you to grow. That is her job. That's her mission, and she does it very well. So well, in fact, that some people, didn't label her a bitch. And some people take that as a compliment, But I see it as your best friend because it teaches you. And it's something that you can't escape. So karma came a knocking, or he anticipated it. Okay, and his vision of karma, see, this is in reverse. And it was gonna be, he tried to do the little boop boop men in black and just pretend like, okay, this never happened, because he didn't want to deal with it. And in actuality, Spirit is telling me right now, he was a little disappointed in himself for not speaking up. He wished he had handled it differently in that moment. But it was all fast and unexpected. But at the same time, if you listen to his recollect his going away speech or whatever, he had said that he already knew, and that he's the one that told Ples to tell Monica. Which, anyway, I'm not gonna dissect that because we're going to move on and dive into the clarification. So check this out, you guys. That reversed Wheel of Fortune in the present position as it relates to his decision to leave. First of all, I don't know. If it was me, it would have been easy, but it's not me. He's not me. I'm not him. All right. The clarification card is simply titled Doomed. And you know what? And I know that I'm laughing a little bit, but I'm not laughing at the situation. It just baffles me when people just feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. We're all gonna die, It's like, it doesn't have to be that way. Excuse me, it doesn't have to be that way. But anyway, doomed. This card is saying that this person thinks the situation cannot be saved. Like I said, that's that mentality. It's all over. We're all gonna die. I'm just the type of person, there's always hope somewhere under some rock. Just keep looking. And this imagery is one of a glass, and I'm telling you guys this because it plays into why this is like doomed. You guys, are you familiar with the phrase, do you see the glass half full or do you see the glass half empty? So there are 3 cards in my Ultimate Clarifiers deck where there's 3 glasses, and 2 of them, they look identical, and one says half full, the other one says half empty. The third one is that same glass knocked over on its side and cracked, and the water is spilling out onto the table. And it says doomed. That is clarifying the card that pushed him forward to go ahead and leave. Okay? That was his mentality at that time. Doom. We're all gonna die. All right. Why? I just was thinking about that Carrie movie. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the horror film, the classic horror film Carrie, where her mom was hollering, "They're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you." That is, and it's not funny. It's a little funny. It is. It's a little funny, you guys. And the reason why is because it shouldn't have took all of this for a bishop, a self-proclaimed bishop, to make this decision to be on the side of right. And I know hindsight is 2020, but it should not have taken all of this, which is why I'm chuckling just a little bit, because I'm like, dang, it took all of this. But that was what was going on in his head. Like, they're all gonna laugh at you. Like that little montage of Carrie, like thinking, oh my God, I'm doomed. Anyway, this card more specifically says, doomed card points out not only someone looking at the situation first and foremost in a negative light before anything else, but also, excuse me, but also this card is saying that this person thinks it's an ultimate failure and cannot be saved. Most likely they won't take action to save or help the situation to turn it into a positive. They do not have inspiration or enough confidence to take action. So this is clarifying his decision to leave. Like, I can't fix it, can't be fixed, I'ma leave. And that's evident. That's exactly what happened. You know, I just don't understand why it took that long. Moving right along though. So let's go ahead and dive into what the bishop allegedly felt like the best outcome for his decision to leave the public discussion panel would be. So he envisions it as King of Wands, and just to quickly remind you guys, the court cards, which are the King, the Queens, the Knights, and the Pages, those 90% of the time represent people, either someone in your life, significant, or you know, the querent, the person. So the best of it in his mind would be for once he leaves and he, you know, gives us all the tea on everyone else but him in his, you know, goodbye speech or whatever. The best in his mind would be, you know, us seeing him as the King of Wands. So here's the thing. The King of Wands upright is what he was imagining. So don't read that yet, what you're looking at on your screen. I really should have split this up, but I didn't. So don't read that yet, because it's not going to make sense. So just listen. King of Wands upright represents a person who is a natural born leader. This person exudes confidence and determination. This king fights tirelessly to achieve their goals and defend their beliefs. When the card is upright, but it wasn't. Okay, you can't fool spirit. All right, so in the reverse, what it means is there's a huge internal conflict between your expectations and reality. You are setting your expectations way too high. You need to cut it. No, okay. You are setting your expectation way too high, which will only lead to disappointment. Okay? That's what it means in reverse. It showed up in reverse, but Spirit let me know that as the best outcome, he didn't mean for it to mean this. That's not what he envisions as his best. What he envisions as his best is what the card means upright. So let's look at the clarifier. This clarifier was very simple, short, quick, straight to the point. The time has come for grounding energy. By grounding yourself, your mind will be clear in order to make better decisions. This card urges you to do what you have to do in order to make time to ground yourself. Point blank and period. All right, so hello, and what you guys are looking at right now is a close-up of a confused bishop bird. What he's looking for is the reason why you guys have not clicked like or subscribe yet. And you may also want to click that bell, because coming up, my next deep dive sessions will be on some of these other interactions with the suspected Monica's. Okay, we're gonna go way back to the basics on how this all started, and I'm gonna deep dive on these other suspected daytime, nighttime, sideways, diagonal Monicas, possible avatars, AMs, PMs. You know, we're just gonna take a deep dive and take a look at the surrounding cast, if you will. So yes, this bishop bird is looking for the reason why you have not yet clicked like, subscribe, and the bell to be notified. All of that is free. Thanks for your support. So as the bishop was making the decision to leave the panel, what he envisioned as the worst possibility, the worst consequence, is the Four of Cups. And this too was in the reverse. So he's trying his best not to view the situation as a missed opportunity for himself. He saw the benefits, the possibilities, and he truly enjoyed the attention, despite adamantly denying this. Let's go ahead and sage this out a little bit. You guys, in all honesty, this one right here, this one made me sad a little bit. So the clarifier for what he envisions as the worst, and you know, that card was the reverse Four of Cups, and it was, you know, him envisioning not having any the benefits that he had and missed opportunities, and you know, and what I was gathering, the energy was like his hard work being in vain, you know, what he was trying to accomplish. Because as the avatar even said, excuse me, I was holding that coffee in, y'all, I was holding it in, but she was saying that, you know, I let them advertise their platforms and I help them out and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, we do know that that's how it usually works on a panel. It's not like she did something extra special and different than anyone else. That's how it usually works on a panel. You'd be a real butthole to sit up here and have a panel and then not allow your panel to promote whatever they got going on. So you didn't do nothing extra special, sweetie. But the clarifier for his what he envisions as the worst, you know, like I said, the missed opportunities, the benefits, and all that kind of stuff, and workmen in vain, two cards came out. And one was it's pretty much my 5 stars. And so this card, when I made it, what they showed me was, like, you know how a restaurant is a 5-star restaurant, 5-star hotel, 5-star review, and me being a chef, and I know, like, in one of the other commentaries I had mentioned that I was in the restaurant, I didn't say restaurant business, anyway, it doesn't matter, but you know, chefs, we want that, you know, the 5 stars and everything. It's very important. And so, and 5 stars for anything, it doesn't have to be it could be a movie, you know, the 5 stars, that's what you want. So this card embodying the energy of, it's pretty much my 5 stars. It's of someone who is very cocky, and normally it shows up when someone thinks they got it in the bag already, you know, kind of the tortoise hare in the tortoise race type of thing. You know how the rabbit felt like he already won, so he could just chill, and you know, and anyway, the turtle ended up winning because he, you know, slow and steady wins the race. So that's the idea behind the, it's pretty much my 5 stars anyway. It's the card of a very cocky person who, you know, feels like they won and the results ain't even in yet. The race hasn't even ended yet. However, I don't really get that level of cockiness from him. What I get is that, like, he had a plan and he was just working towards building his brand, basically. I don't get a severe level of cockiness. I do get some. Don't get it twisted. I get some, but not at the high level that this card, the intention was for it. Now, the second card that came out right along with it that said, hello, I'm here too, it was in reverse. And this one is a picture of a staircase, and it says, you must climb the ladder. You must finish what you started. And it's in reverse. The reason why this kind of made me a little a little emotional or whatever is because apparently he has a hard time quitting things, which is a good quality. There's nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't quit. Like, if you start something, you should, see it to the end. And that's his spirit. That's his energy. And so, and also leaving people, they keep wanting me that they're flashing this, and I was gonna get to it, spirit. Leaving people hanging. He doesn't like to leave people hanging. But like he said in his speech, he had called Monica and she left him hanging. She left him hanging. But he had even talked about before, because now I'm recalling, or Spirit is pointing out, highlighting rather, that in his goodbye speech or whatever, and you know what, pardon me, that's what I'm calling them, because I can't remember what each individual person's title was, but it's a goodbye speech, okay? But in his goodbye speech, he was saying how there had been a couple of days where he felt really sick and under the weather, and then I know more recently someone close to him had passed away, and he wasn't in the mood to go live, but he was saying how Monica was pumping him up and was begging him and asking him to please do it anyway, and he said, okay, well, if I do it, I'm not going to be on camera, because I don't remember what his exact words was, but this coincides with why you must finish what you started is in reverse. It took him a while to shake that energy of feeling like he's leaving her hanging or letting her down. Because the thing about it is, I don't know, you got to decide what side you want to be on. There's right and there's wrong. So, and then, and don't get it twisted. Like I said, with that cockiness card, he also was looking at his benefits too. Okay? Like what's better for me, so he was looking at because remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but his very, very first response, he said he was not leaving the panel and that he would do collaborations on YouTube with Plez. Now that's what he said. So he wanted to ride the fence, and that's what he felt was best, that could please everybody. And then, he got that push and that pressure and everything, which forced him to choose. And so this is, his energy and his mind of what's the best, what's the worst. And so his dedication to it and his work and everything being done in vain, how to bounce back, what does that look like? Or is it just in vain and I gotta just scratch it and start over? How is it gonna affect me? Will it make my numbers? Will I be losing subscribers by the minute? I don't know why that line was fun. I'm losing subscribers by the minute. I'm like, damn, you staring at it, girl. And of course I'm referring to Bishop didn't say that. Schoolboy said that. But so anyway, he was balancing all of that. All right, so you guys get it. Moving right along. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. What's to come? This was his only upright card. Praise the Lord. Okay. All right. I'm excited about it because it's a beautiful card. It is 10 of Pentacles. All right. And the way his energy has been up and down and the way he's been contemplating, all I can say is hallelujah. Okay, hallelujah up in here. So now it's not all rainbows and stuff, because this reading was not a all rainbows and unicorns reading, but still it's good. Don't expect things to go smoothly, but you can expect a fulfilling outcome eventually. Your future has the potential of extreme abundance as it pertains to your finances. All right, that's always good. And also, I didn't put this in here, but it also goes on to say that he'll have a need for nothing. He'll want for nothing, you know. So let's look at the clarifier to get some clarification. So this clarifier, Lord, I'm tired, y'all. Okay, this clarifier for what's to come, clarifying the upright 10 of Pentacles, which is a card of abundance. It simply said, we meet in heaven. That indicates that he is connecting with a passed on loved one for guidance. Okay? We all have free will. So this abundance depends on if, how, and when he puts the guidance into action. Here we are. We have reached the energy snapshot bonus card. All right. I like to always reveal the person's energy that influenced all of these cards. And for the Bishop, it was the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay. And just a little quick, short reminder. All of this is alleged and not to be used as facts. All right. That red bar has been at the bottom of everything that I've said since the time I announced it. So, what this card means in reverse is focusing on yourself. And it suggests he began to view the situation with the lens of what is best for me in the long run. And for the most part, there's not really, nothing wrong with that for the most part. And it says becoming financially independent, giving himself a pep talk in order to be okay with cutting that stream of income, no matter how small it was, y'all. I don't need y'all telling me it was only $2. Hey, $2 is probably a can of soda. Anyway, becoming financially independent, giving himself a pep talk in order to be okay with cutting that stream of income, along with the potential he foreseen in the long run, while releasing the nagging feeling that his dedication was all in vain if he walks away now. All right. And that's really what I was thinking of. I was like, oh, wow, you know what? I didn't even think about that. When you work, when you put in time and energy into something, knowing it's going to pay off in the end, and then all of a sudden it's like you feel like, oh, it won't pay off. Then you do have a feeling of, man, I wasted my time. However, I shall refer the bishop and every sagey listening right now to Jeremiah 29:11. Look it up, because I'm not going to recite it. Hallelujah. But anyway, you look up Jeremiah 29:11, you'll feel all right. And no, I'm not a Bible thumper. That is probably one of 3 scriptures I know. Anyway, praise the Lord. Anyhow, moving right along. So the energy card I also clarified. And like I just said, the energy card was the reverse Queen of Pentacles, which was talking about focusing on yourself and becoming financially independent. And the clarifier says it's time to plant roots. All right. Get into this. All right. It's time for a confident declaration from you. This pressure makes you inadvertently expose your insecurities. You put others down in such a way that detours the focus from your actions or lack thereof surrounding this event. This is clarifying his energy going into this, his decision making. And what that's talking about, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in that farewell speech, like I said earlier in the very beginning of this video, he talked about everyone. He brought up Marcella, and said some things that, you know, he apologized for at the same time for saying. He talked about Schoolboy, you know, the things that Schoolboy told him in private, and then also detoured off to how he was upset because Schoolboy was trying to tell him how YouTube works, and he been in this game, he already know, and she can't teach him nothing. He even veered off about, you know, it would irritate him how Schoolboy would say she was gonna get somebody pregnant. You know, he just did a little bit of talking about everyone, but at the same time, I kind of thought that the farewell speech would be more about why he stayed the next day and like acted like nothing happened. So anyway, yeah, so that's the clarifier. It's time to plant roots, which really just kind of said, you know, you need to just make a confident declaration of what side you're gonna be on. You can't ride the fence. You can't still be with this person and be with that person, because, you know, the spectators tow him up, which he did refer to that. He said it somewhere in there in the midst of all of that. He said that people was just coming at him a lot, and I'm sure they were. All right, let's continue on. Y'all like them sheeps? Y'all little shepherd and sheep thing. All right, moving right along. All right, my beautiful sages. Thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know how you feel down in the comments below. And as I said earlier, my forthcoming immediate videos, I'm gonna take a look and dive into one or two of the other suspected avatars. I haven't fine-tuned it yet because I had only been thinking about the panel. So I'm gonna take a break from the panel, but we'll return to the panel. But we're gonna dive into some Monica's, Kenya's, Angie's. I don't know all of the names. Maybe even Monique again. I don't know yet, y'all. I don't know yet. But anyway, I want to remind you guys to please click like if you haven't already, subscribe, ring-a-ding-ding, that bell to be notified when I do focus back on who the avatar is, what they're, you know, and actually, no, not who, because my original video where I said Nosy Ho did unmask, I stand firm on that. Okay, but there's some other levels to this, which is what I'm going to dive into. So you got to click the bell. You know, you got to subscribe and click the bell in order to be notified for when, you know, it's fresh off the press with the tarot cards, okay? And also, I just want to remind you guys to embrace your differences, all right? No matter what they are, because each and every one of us are uniquely beautiful, okay? Sending you all love and light, and remember to wash your hands. Remember to wash your hands and be safe. All right, bye, my sages. Hey, sages. So if you are picking up what I am putting down, then go ahead and click on one of these two videos. All right, you'll enjoy those also.